Yo, what up? It's Thursday morning, about to be Thursday afternoon. Unfortunately, something I touched on a couple topics ago came to fruition. That's not no surprise. I think everybody who had half of a brain could see what was coming. But I try to get y'all to, see what was coming and why it was coming. You know what I mean? And pretty much the reasons that I gave, I didn't read anything about what Putin was saying his justification was, but just thinking from a 1+1 mindset, rather, it was, for me, it was 1+1. It wasn't that hard to figure out. But then, reasons that I gave, pretty much Putin confirmed. You know what I mean? Because once again, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. All you gotta do is look at things from a basic war strategy standpoint. You know what I mean? Or, like I said, I dumb everything down to what I can relate to, man. Like some of y'all, y'all say where y'all come from, you know what I'm saying? But, just look at the basics, man. If you was outside, just look at the basics of what you knew, whoever you may have an issue with, whether it was a block or an individual, where was that block at? Where was that individual at? You know what I'm saying? And how do you insulate yourself? You know what I mean? So you can build up a defense. At the same time, do what you need to do outside. You know what I mean? And I just look at life like that. I just dumb everything down to what I really understand the most, right? But, so I was telling y'all the importance of Ukraine from a positioning standpoint, right? We knew that Putin wanted Ukraine to be part of the old Soviet, there's an old part of the old Soviet Union, axis of evil. You know what I'm saying? Ukraine played a key role in that. You know what I mean? So you get a historian buff, and you get an old, Putin is really a throwback type KGB guy, man. He may be the only surviving KGB member left, man, especially one that had any real authority and power. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to understand where he come from. Y'all got to understand how he was conditioned. He want to bring that old Soviet Union reign back. You know what I'm saying? He want to unite that again. He want to get, I'm telling you, he want to get that back, man. Ukraine was a big part of that. So when you look back, you go back to 2014, when he said he didn't take back Crimea, he just annexed it. He took back Crimea. You know what I'm saying? That's semantics at that point. You know what I mean? So he took Crimea back. I told you what role that played. It's to the south of Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? It's an easy entry point into Ukraine, right? I told you there's very few countries on that side over there within Europe that bordered Russia that were not NATO countries. Belarus, Ukraine, and it was, I believe it was one more. Smaller country, like. But I told y'all the significance of that. Because if you look at the push easterly towards Russia by NATO, they got all these allies knocking on the doorstep of Russia, right? So they get all these allies. They would have been able to get Ukraine. They can get Belarus and all these other countries, but they got all the other stuff down there. If there was a conflict with Russia, they had easy access points, right? I mean, they had direct lines to Moscow. It's not even just direct access points to Russia, is direct access points to Moscow. You understand what I'm saying? That's the part you got to catch up on. That's not all about what does border Russia. It's not. That's a part of it, but it's way deeper than that. Like I said, you gotta look and see what borders what gives them easy access points to Moscow itself. You know what I mean? And then when you figure that part out, you'll be able to, your mind will be able to shift a little bit to be able to understand what is going on and what's not going on, right? It's a sad day, no matter how you bring this back. I'm gonna touch on the strategic significance a little bit in a second, but it's a sad day. This will impact the global economy. I mean, Russia is still a superpower. I mean, it's really three superpowers that rival one another, but you got two that's on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got other companies that call themselves superpowers, but nah. You got US, you got Russia, you got China. And the fact that China is supporting Russia, I think y'all picking up what I'm putting down here. I think y'all picking up what I'm putting down. This is very, very dangerous. We know China and US already has this conflict because China want to commandeer a bunch of little land islands that are on the lines of international trade routes, waterway trade routes, right? I don't know if y'all paying attention out there, y'all sleep. Pay attention. 70% of the world commerce goods is exported through water. It's traveled through water. It's not air. It's not train. 70% of the world's commerce goes from point A to point B through the sea, through the oceans, man. You understand what I'm saying? And a major part of that is that little land island chain that China has wanted to commandeer. The percentage on goods that travel through there is high. It's dumb high. Right? So, that's been contentious for some years. That's been contention for US and China. Where, we don't had sea war vessels doing a lot of aggressive posture in air. And fighter jets and all that, and combat jets that did a lot of posturing on the scale of provoking. You know what I mean? So when you got China backing Russia saying they understand Putin's plight, and that recently NATO and your man Biden called himself punishing Putin for even with the initial thing he did earlier this week or last week, whenever I did that video when he put some troops in the eastern Ukraine, right? Already Russian back type of local towns and stuff, because like I told y'all, when your man Stalin committed that genocide and he pretty much starved out those towns and they died, he went ahead and implanted Russians into those communities and took over those communities. So that's all Putin did initially, was just go to where they already had a stronghold, right? So whatever sanctions or whatever, like, one is a superpower. How can you know what I'm saying? Now, I never read the depths of what the sanctions were, but whatever they were, it wasn't deep enough for Putin to say, I'm gonna stand down. So whatever you did, he could stand, right? It goes back to childhood, right? Theoretically, you never did a crime or whatever, like whatever rule you broke that your parents gave you, your mom gave you, your aunt gave you, whoever raised you, you kind of made sure you could stand whatever punishment came with that. You know what I'm saying? So it don't change as an adult, right? We do this right here is on a whole nother scale, right? So whatever sanctions they called themselves imposing, he obviously feel like he can stand those sanctions, and that he was still gonna go through whatever he had in his mind to do. You know what I mean? But like I said, a lot of the world's oil come from Russia, though. You gotta remember that they got a lot of the oil reserves. You know what I'm saying? Gotta remember that. That's best. So low key, the government don't want to tell you that, oh, they trying to get cleaner air to save the atmosphere and all this other ecosystems and all this. No, part of that because they know that a large portion, more than enough for the world's portion of oil reserves is in Russia. So they're trying to make that an obsolete resource that they have on a scale that is that important. You know what I'm saying? So that's a part of that. Let's not get it twisted. Think they care about the ecosystem where they keep building all this nuclear stuff and nuclear plants and all that every day? How much do they care about the ecosystem? Like, they still cut down trees. Like, come on, man. This is basic mathematics. Let me speed y'all up, man. So now, like I said, you get China. So China just entered a deal with them to where I think China is going to purchase wheat from Russia. You know what I'm saying? To keep their economy from suffering. You know what I mean? So they don't. I mean, you can't. It's hard to pull a Cuba on Russia. Russia's way bigger, has really a self-sustaining government, economy rather. You know what I mean? It's more self-sustaining than Cuba was. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So Russia has their back. I already said that. They made it known. You got a problem with us? Do something about it. You know Russia. You know China's posture been like that for a minute. Like, you don't want this work. So now when you combine Russia and China, that's a bad combination, man. You know what I'm saying? Bad combination. So, getting back to the reports of Ukraine. So, like I said, I think all y'all realize that Ukraine was part of that, part of the Soviet Empire once upon a time, right? Putin is definitely a history buff. He's definitely cut from a throwback cloth, no doubt about it on that. But what I didn't know about Ukraine, there's some things I'm gonna read off, which I mean, like I said, I knew from a strategic standpoint where they sat, the importance of them. I just didn't know. So now y'all gonna be able to connect the dots, right? So think about this. I want to say probably half of Russia is under ice, right? So with the further you go east, right, the more and more, the Icelands, the Polands, like you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no real natural resources there like that are exportable. Like, I'm explaining. So within Europe, right, this is where Ukraine ranks. They're first in Europe in proven recoverable reserves of uranium. Think about how poor uranium is, right? What's the significance of uranium? If I gotta explain that, then you definitely in the wrong place. You need to go somewhere else and get your weight up. Second place in Europe and 10th place in the world in terms of titanium. Now, ore, so titanium ore, that's like the core of it, right? Where you still gotta go to the earth, dig it out, and then, turn it into an actual usable good, right? Second place in the world in terms of explored reserves of manganese ores, 2.3 billion tons, or 12% of the world reserves. Second largest iron ore reserve in the world, 30 billion tons. What are they all in a constant race to do, right? Build more, bigger ships, more jets, more subs. You know what I'm saying? Where am I at? Second place in Europe in terms of mercury. And once again, y'all understand the purpose of mercury? You're in the wrong spot. That part. Third place in Europe. Third place in Europe. 13th place in the world in shale gas reserves. But I forgot to mention from the beginning that, which I didn't realize, Ukraine, landmass wise, is the second largest in Europe itself, quite naturally behind Russia. And has a population of over 43 million people. Where am I at? Fourth in the world by total value of natural resources. So much. So like I said, the further you go toward Russia, you go to that what's that? That probably the eastern part of Russia, where there's all nothing but ice and all that. Like it's really inhabitable. So it's to understand the importance of Ukraine. You know, they can produce things because they're not all frozen with ice and all that Russia just can't produce, right? So I'm pretty sure Russia has suffered through the years because they lost the key part of, you know, how they're able to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining. 7th place in the world in coal reserves. Think about that. 7th place in the world in coal reserves. Yes, people still use coal. Coal is a very important resource still. Let's not get it twisted. I don't care what they tell y'all. 33.9 billion tons of coal. Now we're going to talk about the agricultural part. This is the part that's been hurting Russia since Ukraine became independent. It's first in Europe in terms of arable land area, right? Can I even plant stuff here for it to grow? Can I even, you know what I mean, cultivate this land right here for anything to grow right here, right? 3rd place in the world by the area of black soil. 3rd place in the world by the area of black soil. 25% of the world's value. The richer soil. Go ahead and dumb it down for some people that don't know why is that important. First place in the world in exports of sunflower and sunflower. Not bad. So I'm reading this and getting hyped because it's mind-boggling. 1st place in the world in exports of sunflower and sunflower oil. Yeah, that part. 2nd place in the world in barley production and 4th place in barley exports. 3rd largest producer and 4th largest exporter of corn. 3rd largest producer and 4th largest exporter of corn. 4th largest producer of potatoes. 5th largest rye producer. 5th place in the world in bee production. Honey, right? Honeycombs, honey. 8th place in the world in wheat. 9th place in the world in production of chicken eggs. 16th place in the world in cheese exports. Ukraine can meet the food needs of 600 million people. When you could do that, you don't need another government. You don't need no big homie. You don't need none of that. That is the definition of self-sustaining. Right? Now, from the industrial side, first in Europe in ammonia production. Wow, I had no idea. That's crazy. Europe's 2nd in world's 4th largest natural gas pipeline. I knew that part. That's a point of contention as well. They running over this gas pipeline too. Yeah. That's one of the biggest keys and takeaways from what's going on right now. That's I'm saying, so think about that. That once upon a time was part of Mother Russia. Did you realize how much money Russia lost when they lost Ukraine? So we got the money side, we got the self-sustaining side, right? We got the export, and then they're lessening the need to import, which quite naturally means I keep more bread, right? Dumb it down. Now watch this. 3rd largest in Europe and 8th largest in the world in terms of installed capacity of nuclear power plants. What happened? Okay. 3rd place in Europe, 11th in the world in terms of rail network length. Transport, right? Get it from point A to point B. Right? Now that's connected with what we already got going on, right? 3rd place in the world after the U.S. and France in production of locators and locating equipment. Huh? So yeah, I gotta do this whole survey of this land. Oh yeah, dig right here. The ores and the core that's right here. Now I'm saying this is where that, yeah, dig right here. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring this up. Right? Let's go ahead, send it over there, get it popping, Send that out. Let's get some money from it, right? Whatever it is that you're locating, right? Whatever this natural resource that you're looking for. Third largest iron exporter in the world. Not much paper. Fourth largest exporter of turbines for nuclear power. Come on, man. Cut it out, man. Fourth largest exporter of turbines for nuclear power plants in the world. World's fourth. Okay, they worded this jacked up. Fourth largest in the world manufacturer of rocket launchers. Fourth place in the world in clay exports. Fourth place in the world in titanium exports. Eighth place in the world in exports of ores and concentrates. Ninth place in the world in exports of defense industry products. 10th largest steel producer in the world. So remember last video, right? When I was breaking down and I was telling y'all the importance of where Ukraine sat, and not only, so I never thought about, not gonna lie, I knew the gas pipeline. I knew about that. I didn't mention it, but I knew about it, right? Because I looked at it more from, I put more emphasis on the strategic location that Ukraine and buffer that Ukraine gives Moscow. You know what I mean? So before, when I was telling you that Ukraine and Belarus, how Belarus boards Russia to the northwest, and how Ukraine to the west and Crimea to the south, that was the only reason why Russia went back and got Crimea, dog. Let's do the math. Right, walk with me. They been planning this. Like, since Putin took over power, however he got there, he been planning this drop. He knew exactly what time he was on. He knew exactly what he needed to execute this, and he knew strategic posturing that he needed to be able to pull off, right? So think about where they just invaded Ukraine from. They invaded Ukraine from three sides. From the north, Belarus. Quite naturally from the west, straight through Russia. And from the south, through Crimea. Y'all following? So that was part of Putin's problem. Like I told y'all, when you have Belarus that's not a NATO country, and you got Ukraine that's not a NATO country, but they both directly borders Russia, Putin was not going to allow that to happen, man. He's seen the writing on the wall. He's seen that push. Slowly but surely, this country signing a NATO treaty. This country signing one. This country signing one. He looked at the posture, and I would take it as a threatening posture as well. Like, yo, y'all planning something. Y'all just ain't doing this for GP. And then I hear they talking about, they was hoping that one day Russia would join. You know, God done well, the Kremlin wasn't joining no NATO, man. Because like I said, one of the biggest key things that Russia has working for it, the Kremlin has working for it, is a lot of things is a mystery. Right? You kind of, through intelligence, you kind of get a broad scope idea of what their capabilities are, but you don't know indefinitely. They join NATO, they going to find out, they're going to have to trade more, be more real, be more transparent about what their capabilities are, because now, once you sign that, you got to be able to respond to a world like this, a world type action, right? But I don't even know if NATO want to step in there, but so much. I don't know. Like think about it though. With the world wars, it took America years before America got involved. Now we were involved indirectly. Well, directly, indirectly, right? It wasn't U.S. assets, like weaponry assets, meaning planes, tanks, and ships. We wasn't doing that. But what we were doing was putting U.S. military personnel with the convoy of the European allies, right? So we were flying their planes, right? We were probably riding in their tanks. It just didn't have the American flag on it, but it was American soldiers. It was American service members, right? I think we even went as far to wearing their uniforms to kind of camouflage and hide that. So if anything, initially, I could see that happening. You know, right now, Russia just kicked off the first phase of this. You know, the first phase, you know, they, some people may not know, but what they do, it's like I said, it's basic street stuff, man. Just a whole lot more money and a whole lot better weapons, man. So first thing they do is they hit the communication towers. No, you can't tell other people, yo, this is what's going on around. This is how activate this, activate that. You cut off person's communication. You know, you're blind out here. You're trying to figure this out on the fly for yourself. You know what I mean? They took the airports over. I don't even think Ukraine has an actual air force. Which, you know, Russia already has an advantage there. You know, they got a full-fledged air force. But I don't think Ukraine has an actual air force. And they attack command centers and artillery hubs, right? I'm gonna attack where you store your ammo. I'm gonna attack your weapon caches, right? And I'm gonna attack your command centers because I want those soldiers out there to be disorganized, right? I already got your communication centers out of here. That's going to further cause y'all internal chaos. And Ukraine military isn't strong enough to hold off Russia. Russia got about 200,000 there right now. That's really light, actually. That's light. But this is just phase one. And it's going to depend on how bad this gets, depend on what Ukraine orders the military posture to be. Is it going to be stand down or is it going to be fight to the death? But it's dangerous times. I mean, this right here can lead directly to World War III. Especially when you already got China around with Russia and they waiting for outside interference so they can, like I said, they got their own beef with the world. You know what I'm saying? You think they don't got ulterior motives? You crazy. You know what I'm saying? They got their own plight right now. And why not partner up? See, I never agree with that ideology. Enemy of my enemies is a friend of mine. I never agree with that. I've never ever agreed with that. Because that don't mean that they're gonna play you accordingly. That don't mean they're gonna play, you know what I'm saying? That don't mean that. That don't mean they're gonna be ethical in engagements with you. Yeah, maybe longer so as we get together and we get rid of whatever over here. But that don't mean when I see you lax that I ain't gonna get you out of here too. That don't mean that. That mean I ain't gonna be grimy and try to burn you in some shape, manner, or fashion. That's why I never agree with that ideology. I always thought that was nonsense and I thought that was suicide. But I guess China is looking like if Russia wanted, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, they want to do some grimy stuff, they can have it. You know what I'm saying? We got enough over here where we can handle that. You know what I'm saying? That's probably how they feel. I don't know. But, you know, Russia got a problem with NATO, so that gives a check mark for China. And they got a problem with the U.S., so that's definitely, I give them like 8 check marks. That's enough for China to back Russia. Even if they don't really agree with what they're doing. It's just advantageous for them to back Russia. In the hopes that if China get in the same situation, Russia back them. I mean, you're talking about 3 countries that are, you got 2 on the same side, you got one at odds that holds most of the world's nuclear weapons. You know how dangerous that is, man? That's why Putin told y'all go ahead and interfere. Y'all gonna see something that y'all never seen in y'all history. And I believe him. Whatever he said he did, whatever he said he'll do that shit. Fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gotta be a genius to figure this out, man. It's basic 1 + 1. And this is something we need to be abreast on. Because watch what this do to the world economy. Watch what it do to, like I said, the economy was already in flux. It was already jacked up. It was already still trying to recover from losing trillions, probably trillions of dollars doing this country shutting down, this country shutting down. It was major countries shut down. It wasn't like no third world countries that didn't mean nothing. We had major industries shut down. You know what I mean? So watch what this do to the gas prices. Let's come watch. Go fill up today. You ain't filled up, go fill up. You may want to put some gas in, I'm saying, whatchamacallit. You may want to put some gas in a little gas can or something like that. If you got it, you know what I mean? You may want to do that. But no, this ain't that nice. I hope that what I'm expecting to happen don't happen. But I ain't never been in the business of playing Jedi mind tricks on my damn self. But buckle up, man. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Buckle up, pay attention. Treat this like I don't care if you in Miami, Florida. You better go start going buy goods like you expected a blizzard. Go stock up. You know what I mean? Because the price of goods about to be bananas. You heard? Watch what it do to the stock market. I'm saying, here's a domino effect, man. If you think all that stuff ain't on the same line with the rise in the price of the goods, you out of your mind. You better pay attention. But, man, I hope y'all got something from this. Like, share, subscribe. I put 30 minutes on this. You know, I ain't about that life. But like, share, subscribe, comment. Share this, man. Comment on this. Put this around. This need to go around like when the purple tape came out. I need y'all to go dub this, send this. You know what I'm saying? This is important, man. But I'll be right back. Try to give updates about, what I see and what I feel about what's going to happen or what is happening. Because this is important. You got to keep your finger on the pulse of this. You know what I mean? But I'll see y'all in a minute.